Hello everyone, Jamarcus here, and I'm here for week 1 of the DDL Season 5. We are faced off against Spoods, who has a very bulky team. Some would call it stall. I think it could be a stall mode, but definitely not full stall. Um, Pult, always hate facing Pult. And then Glasscore Clef, Toxapex, very bulky, and then even Terra Belly Pult's quite bulky as well. I don't have the best Inteleon switch-ins. Water is very strong into my team outside of Azu, so I need to bring Azu or else I kind of just lose to Specs Hydro Pump. But it's also great into my team speed tier-wise. The rest of their team, Arcanine absolutely destroys me except for Garchomp, who's a pretty good check, although it can certainly burn Garchomp, which is less than ideal. Not too scared of Dragapult. I think Terapagos and Azu will be able to handle it. And it's not really going to be able to OHKO anything without getting boosted. For my team, I think Battle Bond Gren looks great. It's what I ended up going with. I need a lot of coverage. Need Ice Beam for these two, or I could just have Dual Stab, but Ice Beam does a bit more to Glasscore, which I like. Poison move for Clef is really helpful. If they're unaware, Spadef, then I don't really do anything to them. Definitely need extra sensory for Toxapex as well. Ice Beam is also needed for Zarude or Sledge Wave, one of the two. Rest of my team, Garchomp. Just clicking a ground move looks fantastic here. Zarude's a pretty good resist. Fizdef Glasscore is pretty good into Garchomp as well, but otherwise a pretty ground weak team. Um, let's take a look at what I brought. Starting off, I have Trapping Azu, Whirlpool Perish Song with Protect and Play Rough. The idea of this set is to trap Toxapex because Azu really can't touch Toxapex at all, so I think it's reasonable for my opponent to switch that in on Azu as I Whirlpool, Perish Song, Protect a couple times, and down goes Toxapex, which helps out my Gren and my Iron Moth in the late game quite a lot. I have Huge Power Play Rough with enough attack to OHKO no bulk Dragapult, and I'm Lumberry to avoid Wisp, so if I lead Pult, they Wisp me and I kill them after I um, avoid the burn. I have enough defense to live 2 Gunk shots from Toxapex, as long as they don't have any attack, and the rest in Spadef to help me into the Inteleon matchup. I had Sap Sipper at first, so that I was a pretty perfect wall to Zarude, but I wasn't actually that worried about Zarude, so I took that off for Huge Power instead, just so I'm doing a bit more damage into Dragapult and Gallade. Next up, first Wincon and Gran. I'm running Modest, which means I'm slower than Inteleon, but I thought Inteleon, I think there's a decent chance it shows up, but it's not a guaranteed pick, and even if it does show up, um, I'll outspeed it after Battle Bond as long as they're not Scarf. And I'm running as much speed as they should have um, for my Iron Moth, I believe. Let me check. So no, I'm totally lying. I only have enough speed for the Zarude. So this Inteleon will be faster than me, so if it's Scarf, it'll be faster than me after Battle Bond. But I really needed that modest damage to be 2 KOing Pex with extra sensory, um, and just extra damage on the rest of my moves. No Dark Pulse, I didn't think it was necessary. It doesn't really hit anything except Dragapult, and Ice Beam is doing plenty into that. Next up, Garchomp. Can you tell what my favorite item is? Life Orb, Adamant, Earthquake. Pretty much to it goes everything on this team. Except for like max Fizdef Fortress takes like 45 to 50, so maybe I get some rocks up. I have SD, so that after an SD, I'm pretty much OHKOing everything on this team. Again, I said of max Fizdef Fortress or like Fizdef Unaware Clef. I don't actually have coverage for Clef, I'm just hoping Earthquake is doing enough damage to it, which it is. I have Liquidation instead, which is a much stronger move into Gliscor. No poison moves means I have to be clicking Scale Shot into Zarude, but I'm okay with that. I really wanted Liquidation, so I'm doing a lot of damage with the Gliscor. Max Fizdef Gliscor can actually live a +2 Liquidation, um, so I have to watch out for that. After Rocks, I think it'll be a roll. Enough speed just for what the Arcanine should be running for my Terapagos. So if they're max speed Arcanine, they will actually be faster than me, but I'm not worried about that because they don't do much back to me besides Wisp, which I can just SD through that, so, kind of. And then I have a little bit extra speed just in case they're going a bit above that. And then the rest, I have HP to get me to an HP number ending in 9, which is good for Life Orb, and then the rest in defense to help me take hits from Arcanine just a little bit better. Next up, Wincon and Iron Moth. I'll just, before I go on to that, I'll just talk about the roles of the members on my team so far. Azu, take out Toxapex, Garchomp, Chip, and Break, Grenwin as Wincon, and then Iron Moth as my secondary Wincon. Just booster speed, a really standard set. 4 attacks. I have Sludge Wave for the Clefable. Sorry, that's Stab. I have Psychic for Toxapex, very much necessary, and then Dazzling Gleam for the Dragapult. Next up, Metagross, Custap. Pretty bulky set. I don't have any speed on this. I didn't think I needed it. Um, it's my rocker. Heavy Slam, Earthquake, Ice Punch is actually really good at breaking through the team as well. Uh, the only thing that really beats this is like max Fizz Def Pex. Earthquake won't be doing that much, but then I'm using up its recovers and what is it doing back to me? So it's actually pretty effective against Pex as well. Defense, 248 HP and 4 defense makes it so I never die to a Flare Blitz from like a Boots or Scarf, Jolly, uh, whatever this thing's called, Arcanine. If they're adamant, it's a roll, and if they're bandaged, I certainly die from Flare Blitz. This is probably what I'm going to end up leading with. Lead Azu is also decent, and even lead Chomp I was considering to some degree as well. And Spadef is just to help into the Inteleon lead. I'd never die to Specs Hydro Pump. And also, I think Specs Shadow Ball from Timid Pult I live, but Modest is a roll. Although they can definitely afford to be Modest if there's Specs Pult here, but they might want the bulk instead. Last up, Terapagos, just safety hazard until like set up Dragapult or even set up Gliscor. I had Calm Mind at first over Ice Beam, but I found having something to do a lot of damage to Gliscor was really nice. And also it's stronger into uh, Dragapult. No Flamethrower for the Fortress. I really wanted to fit it, but I valued Rapid Spin a little bit more. At first I was just Terra Starstorm and Earth Power, because I need Earth Power to hit the Arcanine, but Ice Beam was helpful, again, for the Gliscor. Max special attack mod is just do some damage. This set can lose Toxapex if it's Spadef, because Earth Power and Terra Starstorm don't do enough, unless I get lucky with some Spadef drops. And then the speed is to outspeed Inteleon after a Rapid Spin, I believe. That's the team. What do I expect to see? Dragapult for sure, Gliscor for sure, Clef probably, most likely, Pex probably, Arcanine probably, and then one of this third row here. I don't think Zarude's showing up. I don't really think Bellybolt's showing up. Um, I think if they had a Terra type to resist ground, maybe, but uh, Garchomp just does too much damage to it, even after Terra. And then Impidimp I don't think showing up either. What do we see? We see Inteleon and Bellybolt and Forretress. So something didn't show up. We don't see the Toxapex, and we don't see the Arcanine either. So it means I'm not trapping the Toxapex with Whirlpool. So what is Azu's role this game? It's really just to check Inteleon now that the Toxapex is not here. I can definitely trap the Clefable and non-U-turn Gliscor as well. Same with the Fortress. Although trapping Fortress means they spike stack me, which is okay because I can spin, and their spin blocker doesn't really beat my spinner. So I like what I see. No Arcanine helps my team switch in a lot. It means Garchomp probably won't be getting burnt this game because I'm not going to set up in front of Dragapult. So off of lead, I lead Metagross as planned. They lead Inteleon. I live Specs Hydro Pump or Specs Dark Pulse, even if they're modest, I'm fine. If they Dark Pulse flinch me, that would really suck, but we're going to try and avoid that. I'm just setting up my rocks here. Rocks look really fantastic. They do have their hazard removal, which is their only hazard removal. Um, but I still wanted rocks up because that would tell me, okay, is it Magic Guard Clef or are they at least boots? Same thing with Pult. And helps get chip on Gliscor quite a bit too, which will help +2 liquidation kill if they are Fizdef. So I'm staying in to get up rocks. Obvious switch in for them is just to go Fortress and spin. I'm okay with that. They flip turn, they get a crit. That damage actually tells me they're physical, which is really interesting to me. I thought special looked so good this matchup. And bringing physical into Zapdos and Garchomp was surprising. Um, I'm not quite sure why they chose to go with that. Or maybe I'm just calculating wrong. Fortress comes in, not surprising. I get it my rocks. Fine. Hard Garchomp. Fortress doesn't really do much to me. If they want to body press, they take rough skin, break their sturdy. Fantastic. If they want to spin, again, same thing, take rough skin, I'm fine. And Volt Switch Thunder Wave, I don't care about that. They do Volt Switch, best case scenario, this gives me a free Swords Dance. They do get a Rapid Spin off, that's fine. That actually breaks their sturdy. And with that chip, it's actually a roll for Earthquake to kill, assuming they're max Fizz Def. So I do go for the Earthquake. Barely doesn't kill. I take my Life Orb chip and they get a Spike Up, that's fine. They get Custap. They Pain Split. That's okay. It's actually nice that this Fortress didn't die, because it gives me a chance to Scale Shot. Um, and I do end up getting all 5 hits. Did that matter? It means I take one less turn of Life Orb, which is nice. Otherwise, it didn't really matter. Because I would just be faster at kill next turn. But definitely nice that I got all 5 hits there. Clefable comes in. This is make me think it's unaware Fizz Def, and it's going to kill me with Moonblast afterwards. So I just Earthquake to get chip, and I crit and I kill him. If that was Magic Guard, that was always dying. Max Fizz Def Bolt doesn't matter. They're dead. However, if they're unaware, bit of a different story. Okay, so here's the calc. Max Fizz Def Bold Clef. If they're Magic Guard, always dying to Earthquake. Not even a roll. But then, of course, if they are unaware, they would have comfortably lived. Seeing as I crit, even crit wouldn't have killed, so that tells me they were split F. But assuming they were split F, that always killed the crit, so it wasn't a roll there. So unaware, split F. They would have died to the crit still, but certainly would have lived the Earthquake if it didn't crit and killed me back. I'm guessing that Clefable was their Grand check. So crit, if they were unaware, certainly mattered. Magic Guard, it did not, which I actually don't know which they were. Inteleon comes in. I'm assuming this is Scarf, but seeing as they already sacked Clefable, I'm thinking maybe it's less likely to be Scarf. Maybe they have Aqua Jet, but they don't, and they just dropped to Earthquake. Gliscor comes in. I'm just going to Liquidation. They are max Fizz Def, or close to it, and they do live the Liquidation. And they set up rocks instead of killing me. Maybe they just wanted to go, because even if Gliscor kills Garchomp, what do they do at that point? That just gives Gren a free kill on them, and then that puts them in a really terrible spot. So I think actually setting up rocks is probably the right play here. If they killed me, uh, they'd be in a really tough spot from Gren, or Iron Moth for that matter. So getting up rocks and going for the Dragon Bolt win is actually the right play, I think. Terapagos comes in. I just want to spin these things away. I'm going to Ice Beam, because I obviously can't spin in front of Dragon Bolt. Very happy I have Ice Beam here. They Dragon Dance, that's fine. I'm going to Ice Beam cleanly 2 at KOs. Nothing they can kill me with. Dragon Darts, both hits get absorbed by Terra Shell, which I think is funny. That works with every multi-hit move. It works differently than it does with multi-scale. That's the biggest difference, really, between the two. And then Ice Beam just kills again. And I'm going to get rid of these hazards just because I'm not Boots on Moth. So coming in at 65% or whatever it is will be nice. Um, they don't get Electromorphosis. Fantastic. That means Azu can live a hit. And maybe I can try and Perish Song them. So it's pretty much an unlosable game unless they're faster and paralyze me. And I get full parried like 3 times and I can't Perish Song them. But I don't think it should come down to that. Now that they've Terra Fairy'd, I can pretty much just switch Metagross and Heavy Slam kill them. I'll try and preserve differential. That's why I do not stay in here with Terapagos. Not much this Belly Bolt can do to Metagross. Slack off, don't care. Heavy Slam, I'm going to take it out. So there's week 1. We take the win against Spoods. A pretty scary team with all the bulk on it. I think bringing a lot of breaking power, modest, adamant, adamant, modest. Like I did not bring a lot of speed besides the booster speed moth. I know when you see a Dragapult, you're thinking, okay, I need a Scarfer, I gotta be faster. Um, but I think if I had brought like Scarf Chomp or Scarf Gren, I would have struggled a lot more into the Clefable and Gliscor and Toxapex. So that's why I took the route of breaking the walls, and then Tarap pretty much just answers Dragapult for me. I don't need to have something faster necessarily. Although I do have the booster speed moth, worst case. If they're like Specs something. I don't even know, like Specs Dragon Pulse and my Metagross has gone down. Same with Azu, I don't know. Um, but yeah, pretty happy with the team I brought. It worked pretty well. Didn't get to bring the Terra Captain, but I think had a really tough matchup here. I mean, dual stab wise, it's terrible. Uh, Walled by Pulp, walled by Pex, kind of bad into Fortress. I need coverage for everything. Um, so it didn't show up. Same with Zapdos. Just Split F Gliscor pretty much was the biggest problem there. Although I think Zapdos could have been good too. It just doesn't do quite enough damage to Clef and Gliscor, where it's pretty much just going to stall out of Hurricanes. There's week one. Good start. 4 kills on Chomp. Um, Maybe I'll add him to my all-time kill leaders list if I keep this up. Who knows? 1 kill on Terapagos. Still my kill leader. Hoping to get some more kills with that guy too. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.